Hello everyone, my name is Praveen Mishra and I welcome you all to your favorite channel, that is StudyIQ IAS English. And here in the list of important judgments that changed the whole political setup of our country, we have got for you another judgment into the discussion today, that is Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India case 1978. So a case that permanently changed the interpretation of Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty. Okay, so let's talk about the background of the case, what happened, why it happened, and why Supreme Court gave the very popular judgment. Okay, that is, procedure established by law is quite vague and cannot be justified and defined. And in place of procedure established by law, what we must use is the due process of law. So before we discuss what is the difference between procedure established and due process, let's go ahead with the background of the case, that is Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India 1978. So post-emergency in 1978, Maneka Gandhi, she was about to flew outside country somewhere, obviously legally, flew outside in sense as in she was traveling abroad somewhere. And obviously when you need to travel abroad, what you need is the passport. So just before her travel, just before her flight, Passport Authority of Indian officers, they arrived to Maneka Gandhi and they confiscated her passport, claiming some kind of anomalies or some kind of discrepancies present there. Well, this was a very type of case which represented injustice and unfairness. And it was also a grave violation to Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D, that is freedom of movement throughout the territory of India, along with Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty. So, you know it very well whenever it is the violation of your fundamental rights, where you can approach directly. You can bypass the hierarchy, that is of subordinate courts as well as the high courts, and using your Article 32, directly you can approach the apex court, that is Supreme Court of India. Yes, you have got option under Article 226 to, just bypass the subordinate courts, but this time Maneka Gandhi approached the apex court, that is the Supreme Court, using her Article 32. And then came in the final thing, that is the judgment that literally provided a new horizons and some badly needed interpretations regarding Article 21. Okay, so what is simply once again the summary of the case? Maneka Gandhi was traveling abroad somewhere after the end of the emergency, traveling legally. It's not like, running away from something, traveling all with legal documents and papers. And just before her flight, okay, her passport was confiscated by the Passport Authority of India, claiming some kind of discrepancies. Okay, and this was very unfair, and so it was a violation to her Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D, as well as Article 21. So since it is the violation of fundamental rights, so using her Article 32, that is the writ jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, she reached where she knocked the doors for the sake of justice of the apex court, that is Supreme Court itself. And what happened into the course of the case? The key aspects of the judgment, as we can see here, okay, it was first and foremost the expansion of Article 21. The court held that the procedure established by law, written in Article 21, is not mere a formal legal process, but it must be fair, just, and reasonable. Okay, the judgment also provided the interrelation between the fundamental rights. Okay, simply the judgment connected Article 14, 19, and 21, calling it as the golden triangle. Okay, where at the vertex we have got Article 14 and at the base we have got Article 21, 19 and 21. Okay, so simply speaking, the doctrine of golden triangle. Okay, what is the concept? The doctrine of golden triangle came into being, wherein it was stated that these three fundamental rights creates up the basis or the genesis of the whole chapter of fundamental rights, basically part 3 of the Indian Constitution from Articles 12 to 35, right? So interrelation was created, the doctrine of golden triangle came into the existence, and also Supreme Court stated that Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D, that is freedom to move throughout the territory of India, also provides explicitly the freedom to move outside the territory of India. So remember, when it came to the concept of right to travel abroad, the court affirmed that the right to travel abroad is part of personal liberty under Article 21 and also under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D. Okay, that is freedom to move throughout the territory of India also provides you the freedom to move outside the territory of India. Okay, though it is not mentioned under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D, Supreme Court interpreted it, that is simply explicitly mentioned it, okay, outside the territory of India. And also, Supreme Court talked about the arbitrariness and fairness of the law. Do we have any window? Do we have any mechanism, any machinery, any provisions, any protocols that that provides any kind of a checks and balances on the fairness and arbitrariness of the law? So this was the question: protection against the arbitrary action of the state. The Supreme Court's ruling protected the citizens from any kind of arbitrariness and unreasonable actions by the executive and the legislative branches. Okay, considering the question related to the procedure established by law, as in Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, what it says: no person shall be, okay, this is what is Article 21, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except by the procedure established by law. Okay, this is what is written: except according to the procedure established by law. As in, simply speaking, tomorrow, let's say it's Sunday today, right? So what if Parliament passes a law that on Sunday no one will be wearing a red check shirt, and whosoever dares to wear a red check shirt on Sundays, right, that person will be shot. If this law becomes law, then will it be valid? If this particular thing, this particular nonsense thing becomes law, so will it be valid? Obviously not. It's absolute grave violation to your fundamental rights. Why law can decide, and why should law decide that what you will wear and what you will not wear? This is not the concept, right? Obviously. But if Parliament passes this law that on Sunday, if anyone dares to wear a red colored check shirt, that person will be shot dead. So obviously this is a very unfair type of law. But if the law is made through all the procedures, then what we can do? Can we do anything? Till 1978, we couldn't do anything, since the concept of procedure established by law was totally followed. And then Supreme Court came into the defense in 1978. It stated that procedure established by law is quite a vague concept, and it doesn't provide any kind of checks onto the arbitrariness, unfairness, and unreasonableness on the law. And hence, in place of procedure established by law, what we should follow? We should follow the due process of law. As in, let it be written procedure established by law, but let's just change the interpretation. Change the interpretation of procedure established by law to due process of law. Let's say, for example, if I say, what is this? This is a remote, right? This is a remote, for example. But for me, its usage is not of a remote. For me, it's my, let's say, head massager. So I'm using it to massage my head. So what is this? For me, it's a head massager. This will remain a remote only. This is a remote, so I'm using it to change the slides, to change the PPTs, okay? So this remains the remote only. But my usage of this remote is, I am using it to massage my head. Okay, I'm having a headache and I'm using it to massage my head. So what is this for me? This is a head massager. Yes, in its actual form, it's a remote. But, okay, for me, what it is a head massager. So, in the very same way, procedure established by law remains procedure established by law only. But for us, its interpretation is what? Its interpretation is due process of law. And now, let's go ahead and understand the basic difference between the due process and the procedure established by law. Okay, so but before we discuss the basic difference, let's understand the meaning, the evolution and impact. Remember, while the term due process, it's not explicitly adopted, the court's interpretation of the procedure established by law just changed. Okay. Remember, there is no amendment done under Article 21. And even still, if you open the Constitution and you read Article 21, you will find the same word, that no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Remember, it's a still mentioned procedure established by law, just the interpretation has been switched to due process of law, right? And here is the basic difference. The procedure established by law, what does it mean? Law will be valid if, okay, the word if, enacted properly by legislature irrespective of fairness. Legislature has made law, so whether it is fair or unfair doesn't make any difference. Okay, it is made following the proper procedure, so it is good. Doesn't matter whether it is fair or not. But due process of law, on the contrary, on the opposite side, checks the fairness as well as the procedure. Okay, here the fairness is not checked, right? In due process of law, the fairness is checked along with the procedure. So here it is just what? Here it is just the procedure. And on the opposite side, that is into the due process, it is fairness as well as the procedure. Whether while creating a law, you have followed all the procedures as well as the law is just and fair. Next, procedure established by law focuses only on whether the law follows the proper procedure. And here, okay, it focuses on both procedure as well as fairness. So it is having the narrow scope as it is having just one thing to check, that is procedure, and it is having the broader scope as it is having the dual things to be checked, that is the procedure as well as the reasonableness as well as the fairness, basically the validity. Then protection of citizens. So procedure established by law, obviously just checking one thing, so it will be limited protection, whereas the due process, okay, so it is checking the dual thing, so it is obviously the greater protection, okay, as it protects the citizen from any kind of unjust and unfair and unreasonable law. Then we talk about judicial review. That is not explicitly or implicitly mentioned in our constitution, but we derive it through Article 13, Clause 2. Okay, that is through the definition of law. So judicial review. Courts cannot question the fairness of the law if we follow the procedure established by law. So courts cannot question the fairness of the law, and they can only look for the adherence to the procedure, that whether you have followed the procedure or not. But here, in the due process, courts can examine both the procedure as well as the fairness. And in case any of them is not valid, okay, that is either the procedure or either the fairness, then the courts can struck down any of the legislation or a statute. Then talking about followed in. So it was followed in India till 1978, and it is coming from the country of Japan, the origin. And here, the due process, it originated in USA. Okay. And for example, okay, if any kind of a harsh law is made, okay, so once it's made following the proper procedure, it will be passed. But in the due process, it won't pass until and unless, okay, the procedure as well as the fairness is checked. As in, does this law violates the concept of justice and liberty? If it violates, then it shall be considered totally as null and void, totally as malified, totally as unconstitutional and illegal. And if it does pass the concepts of justice, liberty, fairness, reasonableness, and justness, then obviously it shall prevail. So this is what the basic difference between the concept of what procedure established by law and due process of law. And I hope, guys, this is all clear to you guys. There would be existing no doubt in your mind. So I tried my best to make it as simple as possible. And still, if there is existing any questions, any queries, any doubts, then please do let us know into the comment section. And also you can let us know on my Telegram channel, okay, that is with the username PRV Live. So you can just join the Telegram channel PRV Live. and you can also scan this QR code. Okay, so just scan it. Okay, and you will be, directed towards the particular platform, that is the channel here. Okay, so just scan, or in case you don't just want to type, so just go onto the search bar of Telegram and type this username, that is PRV Live, and you can connect with me and let me know whatever your doubts are. And apart from that, you can also let me know your doubts on my Instagram account, that is Praveen Mishra _2107. So wherever you wish to connect, you can connect. Okay, and remember, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button of the StudyIQ IAS English. And remember, if you are a serious aspirant, okay, so this announcement is for you, for the serious aspirant only. The resolution batch that is about to commence from 25th of July. This resolution batch is for those aspirants, those who are really committed to convert their dreams into reality. So once you have enrolled in this resolution batch, you will be provided with 1,000+ hours of live classes. And in case you miss those live classes, you will be having the absolute access to the recorded lectures as well. Further, 18 sets of printed books will be sent to you at your doorstep. You don't have to go anywhere to collect it. Then the class notes of the teacher that the teacher is using to teach you, the very same class notes will be converted into the PDF form and will be shared with you immediately at the end of the session, that is at the end of the class. Next, will this one subscription also cover my test series? So yes, obviously, 75+ tests for your prelims, 15+ tests for your mains, and multiple mock interviews, that is your interview guidance program as well, will be included in just one subscription, that is the resolution batch. So there are multiple subscription plans like gold, platinum, diamond, and the subscription plans, they are starting with just rupees 9,999 only. And what you need to do is just have a promo code so that you can avail the maximum possible discount. So guys, remember, you will get the discount only when you have applied this promo code. And what is the name of the code? That is PRV Live. So use this code before purchasing any subscription or enrolling yourself in any batches on the StudyIQ platform. Any batch means any batch. So just use the code. What is the name of the code? PRV Live. And remember, when are the batches of the resolution batch? Basically, the P2I, that is prelims to mains to interview July batch, about to commence. It is exactly on 25th of July. So see you guys from 25th of July into our resolution batches. And remember, please do not leave the session before hitting the subscribe button of the StudyIQ IAS English. So just hit the subscribe button and never miss an update from the channel. And if you have any queries related to the judgment that we have discussed today, let us know into the comment section or anywhere. Okay, here the Telegram or Instagram, anywhere you can let us know your doubts. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye. Good day. Take care. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.